Welcome to IdeaGen TV. Today, I am thrilled and honored to have with us Dr. Nicole Hayre, founder and CEO of the Cosmetic Dermatology Center. Dr. Hayre, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited.
You know, Dr. Hayre, so familiar with your leadership, your entrepreneurship, your leadership in medicine and cosmetic dermatology, and your product, which is something we'll talk a lot about today, which is Cutocin, but that you invented. And so anyone who invents something that's so extraordinary and powerful deserves to be commended. And so I'd like to ask you, just to start off, what is new with you and your work at the Cosmetic Dermatology Center, including any plans for 2024 beyond?
Well, thank you for those words. They mean a lot to me. It's been a lot of adventure over the last several years with Cutocin. But as far as my office, the Cosmetic Dermatology Center, we have a lot of things planned for 2024. I am scheduled to help out with a couple of studies for different laser companies. And that's always fun and exciting to get cutting edge devices in here first. We have the Acumen, which has finally been launched officially for everybody else, but we've had it for years, and it's fantastic skin tightening, very easy. So we're very proud to be able to offer these things to our clientele first. We also just brought in the Prime, which is the world's most advanced facial system. And we just brought in a very simple, elegant procedure called Glow Pin that instantaneously just builds up the skin and gives it a beautiful glow, hence the name.
All incredible in helping individuals across the planet to be empowered, which is really your mantra. And so let's go back to Cutocin for a moment. And so the evolution. How has the product, the evolution of Cutocin, arrived where we are today? Meaning, how does it work, and how did you come across it? How did you create this incredible product?
It's a really interesting story. I've been in practice for over 20 years now, and some of my patients have been coming to me the entire time. And I'm so honored by that. And I get to know them. And so, you know, I see them from time to time throughout the year, or some of them maybe only once a year. And it happens when someone will walk in and I just see this change in their skin, and it could be a good change. And I think, wow, their skin all of a sudden looks better. And, you know, I know what we're doing and what we've been doing, but there's just something different, this intangible thing, right? And they just have this love glow. And I talk to them, and it turns out they have a new love. They got engaged. They have a new man in their life, whatever it is. And they're so excited. But there have been several times where there's this striking depletion in the skin, and it just looks sallow and depleted and just different. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, something happened. This doesn't look good. And we get to talking, and you know, there have been several times when the husband died unexpectedly, or the husband left unexpectedly, and the woman is just devastated. And it shows, and it's not just the expression on her face, it's the skin quality. So I got to thinking about it, and I realized, you know what, this is all related to their love lives. So it's kind of crazy, you know, you think about this and you talk about this stuff and, oh, the love glow and that kind of thing. And it's almost like this mythologic concept. But I was like, no, I'm really seeing this. I think there's something to this. And so I realized I had this epiphany, and I said, you know, this is all oxytocin based. Oxytocin is the love hormone. And in the past, we've always thought that it had a very limited value, if you will, in the body. And it was only pegged into, you know, several little things. So it was involved in sex, birthing, and nursing. And that was it. We really didn't think about oxytocin. But I thought, no, there's something going on here. So long story short, I did a lot of research, found out that there is now some evidence showing that oxytocin is made in the skin, binds in the skin, and shuts off an inflammatory process in the skin. So when this inflammatory destructive pathway is shut off by the presence of oxytocin, then it's protecting the skin. And so I thought to myself, oh my gosh, like, can we really see this clinically? No one's proven this. No one has shown this clinically. So, I have this research mindset, and I did a pilot study out of my office, and I was able to show that it does in fact correlate. There's a linear correlation with the level of oxytocin someone has and how good their skin looks. And we use standardized photography and a standardized scoring system, all very above board scientific method. And so this was published. It actually even was tagged one of the most important stories in dermatology 2021. And it's just very exciting to have found this, to have been able to show this clinically. But it goes beyond that, because I thought to myself, well, the body doesn't waste energy easily, right? We're, evolved to conserve energy. And so what's going on here? Is this a beauty system? Is this about reproduction? And my gut feeling was no, this goes beyond that. So I dug through the research, the literature, and it turns out there is preliminary research showing a positive effect of oxytocin on every system in the body. So it has a positive effect on your lungs, your GI tract, your cardiovascular, neurologic, everything. And so I was sitting here in my office, and I'll never forget, it was a Sunday, and I needed to be in my office for some nice and peace and quiet because the kids are at home. And I was writing up my paper, and I was like, well, what is going on here? Like, why is oxytocin all of a sudden being found to have this positive effect here and there? And why would this be going on? And I realized this is a social system. This is a system that is ingrained in our bodies, that the more social we are in a positive manner, the more oxytocin we have, the healthier we are, and the better we look. And there's this positive feedback loop, because then you're more vibrant, you're healthy, there's something to people with this energy, right? And so they attract more social attention. And so, and this isn't just a sex thing, right? This is a positive social interaction thing. This is sitting across the table from someone. This is getting a hug. This is smiling at someone. All these things will increase your oxytocin. And so I talk a lot with different audiences, and I talk a lot with my patients about this and explain this system and how this system links our social behavior to our actual health. And it's a very powerful message. I've had a lot of very, very strong responses. And, in the end, I think that this is why our populace right now is having a lot of trouble. The kids are staring at the social media. There's a lot of depression and anxiety, and that's because social media is not truly social. It's how to get information on a social topic, but it does not really trigger that normal social response. You're not going to get your oxytocin levels up the way you would if you're sitting there with a friend. And this message, I've found, has been very, very well received. And people feel very strongly about it.
Dr. Hayre, that's just incredible background, and your passion for the research is really, truly remarkable, which goes along with your leadership for your global work on this topic and this product that you've developed, Cutocin. And so on that line, how has your background in academia, specifically in scientific research, guided your path toward your work, this incredible game-changing work with Cutocin at the Cosmetic Dermatology Center?
Thank you. Well, it is a global message. And I think that with my background in academia, you just, if you have a passion for that, you can't just shut that off. It's always kind of with you, and you're thinking, what's going on here? Why is this working well? How do I analyze? Even if I'm just bringing in a device here at my office, I need to see the data. I need to analyze it. But when this came in front of me, I realized this is going on. I was just so excited because, I've always wanted to contribute to the medical community, and I feel like this might be my way of doing this because it is a very strong, powerful message. And I think that we all need to pay more attention to this in our lives, and we need to actually put time aside to, to nourish this system in our body. And I think we would all be better off if we did, not just personally, but maybe also socially, and expanding that to the world, right? I mean, because when you are in a better place, your mentality is, better. Obviously, you're more approachable. Maybe people will get along better. I mean, there's just so much strife in the world right now, but I think we need to get back to basics, and we need to have strong, personal relationships, long-term friendships. We need solid relationships, friendship or romantic. Families need to be solid. They can look different, but they need to be solid, and it's so important. So that's been my message. I've been speaking a lot about that, and I'm hoping that does become a worldwide message.
Well, it's truly global. I mean, you've spoken, I know, at the United Nations and at different venues across the planet, specifically about your research in your product, Cutocin, which is remarkable. And in your mind and in your perspective and with your leadership, how does Cutocin fit into the future of dermatology and potentially beyond to empower individuals across the planet?
So I think the message behind Cutocin is, as I said, I think very strong and positive. The product itself has been incredible. It is a patented product line now. We were just granted our patent on a natural botanical that mimics the effect of oxytocin in the skin. And so when we're mimicking that effect, we have a much better result than any other product that I have seen on the market to date. I've been doing this again for 20 years. I've sold fully loaded products before with your antioxidants, your peptides, everything in it. But when you put this botanical in there, it is working on another level in the skin. And so Cutocin cream was the first product that I came out with. And, it's a fully loaded product, just like the other ones that I've been selling for all these years. But when I put that botanical in there, the results were so much better. And the reaction to it was so strong. People just really become hooked on it. It was just after the pandemic when sometimes we would have some production issues because we couldn't secure certain ingredients in timely fashion or packaging. And so from time to time, we'd run out, and I would have to break the news to someone who's on Cutocin. Well, I'm sorry, we're waiting for a shipment. We're out right now. And they would panic. They would absolutely panic. I've never seen that happen before. Again, I've sold products through the years, through 20 years, never seen people panic like that before when I'm out of something if we didn't get a shipment. And when it would come back in, they would buy 3 or 4 at a time. So I knew I had something that people love. They see the changes, and they feel very passionately about it. And I think they also connect with the message, and they understand how it's working, because I joke around that I kind of proved what women especially have always secretly known, that these things affect us more than just how we feel. They affect us physically. And, I think that's the message behind this is we need to, be kind, be human, and nice to one another, because it does affect us physically and mentally.
Totally amazing. Just to hear your perspective is profound. And so as a medical professional and entrepreneur, you are both. How did you develop your business acumen in addition to your research and just profound work in healthcare?
So I have to give credit to my parents. I think that a lot of this came from just, we would have the old-fashioned dinners where we sat around the table, and, I listened to my parents talk about business. And my mom was a heck of a business lady. And so, I would listen to this every night and grow up thinking about this kind of stuff. And so maybe I was a little bit more aware of it than the average kid. But, I think that that's probably a part of it. I never really went to business school or anything like that. And it's just been a lot of trial and error too. Not everything goes the way you always plan, but perseverance is definitely important when you're trying to start something new, or especially something entrepreneurial.
And so, Dr. Hayre, you're familiar with the recent launch of the IdeaGen Foundation, helping to empower future global leaders. And so I'd like to ask you an important question, which is, what advice would you give to the youth of today who look at you and would like to follow in your incredible footsteps?
I would say you definitely have to find something that you're passionate about. And that might not necessarily be the easiest thing or the easiest option that you think of, but you have to have passion. You have to be passionate about it, because it's a long road to create something successful. And there will be ups and downs. There will definitely be bumps in the road, and you have to persevere. And sometimes it's a little difficult, but you just have to wake up every day thinking, you know what, today's the day that things are gonna, work out better with, whatever issue that you're working on, or you're gonna make some progress on a certain issue. And it's really about just thinking things through, having passion for what you're working with, and persevering.
Incredible advice for future global leaders, just profound. And so, what is your final call to action for our global audience, the millions of people that are looking to you for leadership advice, for entrepreneurship advice, and for advice on how to empower others across the planet?
I would say, I would again love people to take this message to heart and to start to think about their lifestyle and how they're, what are their habits? What are they doing? And just take a little time out every day to do something that's a positive social interaction. So if you have a loved one at home, seriously be like, you know what, it's time for a hug. And you get a nice long hug. And you know what, you're going to feel better. It doesn't matter if you've had one of those bumps in the road that day or what's going on, you're going to feel better. It's going to calm your whole body down. And if you don't have someone at home, you know what, snuggling up with a dog, cuddling with a dog next to on the sofa and watching TV or that kind of thing, that actually has been shown to raise your oxytocin. Go out with a friend, get lunch, get dinner. Social interactions. I want people to do these things again. I feel like our modern lives have just torn us away from these things that are so important to us. And they're not just important mentally, they're important physically. And you'll feel better and you'll look better and you'll be healthier when you do these things. And you know what? This also ties into being an entrepreneur or a business person or whatever, because the more you interact with people, human to human, the more you're going to listen and learn about different ideas. And it might just trigger another thought or a solution for something that you're working on. Or, you might just have an epiphany one day, like I did, through an observation, by talking to people over time. So, it's important. We need to spread this message of real human interaction. And also, that's going to help you through life and help you to be more successful.
And so the most important question is, how can folks find out more about your work and how to find your incredible product that you invented, developed, and are spreading throughout the world, Cutocin?
So Cutocin is on cutocin.com, Cutocin.com. And a lot of articles and interviews are under the press tab. We have amazing before and afters. You can see what I'm talking about. And then to find me for my clinic, it's cosmetic-dermatology-center.com. And I'm in McLean, Virginia, right outside of DC. So if anybody's local, you can stop on in.
Dr. Nicole Hayre, changing the world, CEO, entrepreneur, medical leader. How many titles? It's incredible what you're doing to change the world, my friend. Thank you so very much. And thank you for all you're doing to empower individuals across the planet.
Thank you too. And thank you for spreading all these important messages. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much.